Welcome. My name is Jessica LaMarre, and I'm the founder of Love Personal Growth, your go-to for embodied healing and spirituality in life, business, and relationships. And today we're going to talk about spirituality and religion. And I thought that the best way to start us off is to talk about my path and my journey through religion into spirituality. So when I came into this life, I came into a Mexican/Italian family, which means I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins, and we were all Catholic. And so in that, I grew up going to church every Sunday. I was baptized before I could even say I wanted to be. I received my first communion and my confirmation, and I took it to the next level. So if you know anything about me, you know that I don't just go half butt. Like, I'm all in. If I'm doing something, I'm all in. And so not only did I attend church on Sunday, I was also a lector server. So that means that I read the readings. I was a Eucharistic minister, which means I distributed the body and blood of Christ, is how it's understood in the church. I also was a confirmation sponsor, which means I sponsored people who did confirmation. And of course, throughout my high school, throughout my high school years, I was very, very involved in the teen mass and the teen movement in the church, going to church all day on Sunday and on Wednesdays. So there was a lot of church in my life. And here's what I'll say. I'm very grateful for that time. The church helped me get through some very difficult times in my life. It gave me community. And it didn't give me empowerment. I will be clear on that. It didn't give me trust in myself. But it gave me something to lean on. And that's what I received through the church, which I'm very grateful for. Now, as time went on and I had children, I then, of course, did the same for my children and took them even further and did Catholic schooling. However, in 2018, I had an incident happen in which I was carrying a baby that I didn't know would live, and my entire life shifted. And in that time, I realized what was once true for me was no longer true for me. And that began the unraveling and the clearing out of what I thought was truth. What I was taught was truth. And so in this process of letting go of what I was supposed to believe and who I was supposed to be, in order to actually become me, who I am, in this ever-evolving process, I was able to let go of past beliefs. Now, I will say that it was not easy. And I will say that I felt like I was completely losing a sense of myself and a sense of my identity. However, what I knew to be true is that I could no longer be in a religion that persecuted and judged people for who they loved and who could not see the value in women's authority. And so I had to choose another way, and I did. And for me, that was leaving the church. Along the journey of leaving the church, I found me. I found who I am, and I found an unconditionally loving presence whom I call the divine that exists within me and around me. And this loving presence has led me on a journey to uncovering truths, to uncovering false narratives that the church has taught in order to keep us in control and fear. And so I study these, and that is what I do now. I'm a spiritual scholar, and study the impacts of religion and patriarchy on the oppression of women and how that has impacted our spiritual beliefs and who we are. And let me tell you, it is liberating. I feel more like myself every single day with the new things that I learn. And what I am doing is I am unlearning the false narratives that I took on as truth, which, I will caveat, helped me at the time, but held me in a position and a place that was not me. It was not who I am. It kept me in the societal, cultural, religious, patriarchal norms that they wanted me in, not that I wanted to be in. So what does this difference even look like in my life? Well, for one, the amount of fear in my life has pretty much dissolved. Of course, there are things that come up that I work through, but I don't have this fear that I am wrong or that I am bad or that I should be judged. I've worked through that. And it is a process. It's a process of clearing out. I had to go through that process of clearing out because that was my journey. Not everybody has to go through that process, but that was my journey. I had to let go of who I thought I was in order to be who I am. And what that allowed for me is a clearing of the mind. And with that clearing of the mind came, I feel so much relief in this moment. So many less thoughts, less overwhelm, less overthinking. I wasn't worried about being judged. I wasn't even worried about anything, really. I knew that everything was working for my highest good. I knew that I was working towards my highest good. The second thing that I'll say is it's not like a light switched on and everything changed and life became bliss. That's a false narrative. And if you're experiencing that, wonderful. I'm so happy for you. That was not my experience. My experience was that it was hard to work through some of the belief systems and the thoughts and the emotions and the mental rhetoric that was placed within me that I inherited in my lifetime. And through meditation, which is how I started, through meditation, I was able to calm the parts of me that were struggling to survive in a world in which judgment is the life, is the way. And as I released that judgment, as I released who I thought I had to be and who I thought they wanted me to be and could be me, I truly felt relief. And you could just feel it. You could feel it as I speak the words. You could see it if you're watching the video in my body. And if you're interested in feeling that relief and not having to carry all of the judgments and fears and need for control, then I invite you to start clearing the spaces in your life. And I'm not just talking about the physical spaces, although that matters, like your home and your closet and what no longer serves you. I'm also talking about the mental and emotional spaces. In terms of mental, I highly recommend meditation. I know I've had every excuse in the book not to do it, and there are still days that I don't want to do it, but guess what? I do every single day because it matters, because it's my time to connect to me, because I get to rest. And I highly recommend emotional healing, which I didn't even know existed. And I have a whole episode on that, on emotional healing. But it's really about understanding our emotional state and being with it, honoring it, and allowing it to flow through us. So if you're looking to move or shift your relationship with religion and spirituality, then that's what I invite you to do. Just start clearing some of the spaces. I'll talk with you soon.